I was renting this old one-bedroom apartment in Montclair, New Jersey. Second floor of a split house. Quiet street. Tall oak trees outside every window. I was a nursing student back then. Night shifts. I slept during the day, and one afternoon something just felt off. I woke up to this weird cold air in the room, but the window wasn't open. When I looked toward the foot of my bed, there were footprints. Not just dirt, mud, wet, fresh. I live alone. No pets, no guests. I checked the windows, locked from the inside. I even looked behind the shower curtain. Nothing. So I cleaned the floor. Told myself maybe it was just my shoes. Maybe I forgot. Next day, I woke up again. Same time, same footprints. But this time, closer to the bed. I set up my phone to record while I slept. Didn't tell anyone. When I checked the video the next day, the room was still for hours. Then, around 3:23 p.m., my bedroom door opened. Very slowly. Then a man walked in, barefoot, muddy, wearing an old parka and jeans. He stood at the foot of my bed for over an hour. Just breathing. Never touched anything. Never moved. I never heard him. Never saw him. I called the cops. They searched the entire house. Nothing. But when they checked the crawl space behind the attic door, they found muddy footprints on the insulation. No signs of forced entry. No signs of exit. And I swear, the last clip on my phone, it didn't end. It corrupted. But not before he looked directly at the camera and smiled. This happened about 3 years ago. I was driving solo from Phoenix up to Denver to visit my sister. One of those last-minute decisions. I left around 6 in the evening, thinking I could just crash somewhere cheap halfway up. Big mistake. About an hour outside Payson, Arizona, I got caught in this brutal thunderstorm. Like sheets of rain, lightning dancing over the hills, and my phone was almost dead. No signal. No GPS. It honestly felt like I was just gliding through the dark, no direction. That's when I saw this flickering old sign just barely glowing through the downpour. Rest Hollow Motel vacancy. It looked deserted. Straight out of the 70s. The kind of place you'd find in a film roll your parents forgot to develop. But I was soaked, freezing, and running on empty. I pulled in, parked, went into the front office. The guy at the desk was probably mid-40s. Pale. Didn't make eye contact. He just slid me this key and said real low,
"Don't listen to the voices, they stop around 3.
I half laughed. Thought maybe he was stoned. Or joking. Gave him $50 in cash and took the key. Room 11. As soon as I opened the door, the air felt wrong. Like a heavy. Still. Not cold exactly, just dead. The walls looked thin, but not like cheap motel drywall, more like something was behind them. Listening. I turned on the old fan. Flipped on the TV, nothing but static. Then I heard it. Over the sound of the fan, a soft whisper. A woman's voice, just repeating the same thing again and again.
Get out of the walls. Get out of the walls.
I muted the TV, turned off the fan. The whispering didn't stop. I pressed my ear against the wall next to the bed, and I swear I heard breathing. Slow, labored, like someone was hiding inside me. Then the headboard pushed forward, like someone had just slammed against it from inside the wall. I bolted, threw on my shoes, grabbed my backpack, yanked open the door. But the hallway, it wasn't the same hallway I
11.
It was longer, darker, and the only door. At the end, room 11. Again, I ran toward it like my life depended on it. Threw the key in, it clicked instantly. Same room, same old static on the TV. My bag, still on the chair. Shoes, still by the bed, like I never even left. The whispering was gone now, but that's when I noticed the bathroom mirror. It was fogged over, even though I hadn't taken a shower. No steam, no heat, nothing. Just this perfect fog with something written in it. Thank you. He's gone now. And just below the writing was a muddy footprint on the inside of the mirror. I sat in the corner of the room the rest of the night. Didn't move, didn't blink. Just watched that mirror until the sky turned gray. At sunrise, I checked out. The guy at the desk didn't say anything. He just handed me the receipt and gave me this long, exhausted nod. Like he knew. Like this wasn't the first time. And probably.
The phone rang at exactly 3:17 a.m., and when I answered, I heard my own voice begging for help. Kate had been living alone in her grandmother's house on Oak Street for 3 months. The neighborhood was quiet, too quiet for a 24-year-old used to Los Angeles traffic. But that night in October 2019, the silence shattered. The voice on the other end, it was mine. Exactly my voice, but terrified.
Kate, don't trust him. He's already inside. Check the basement. Please check the basement.
My hands were shaking. How could someone have my exact voice? I hung up, but the phone rang again immediately. Same number. Same voice.
He's coming upstairs now. Can you hear his footsteps? Listen.
And then I heard it. Through the phone, footsteps. Heavy, deliberate, coming from my own basement. I grabbed a kitchen knife and crept toward the basement door. The handle was warm, like someone had just touched it. The voice on the phone whispered,
Don't go down there. He wants you to go down there.
But I had to know. I had to know if someone was really down there, or if I was losing my mind. The basement was empty. No footsteps. No intruder. But on the old wooden table, there was a cassette recorder. Still running. Still recording. I pressed play and heard my own voice from 5 minutes ago. Hello? Then the other voice, the terrified version of me.
Sarah, don't trust him. He's already inside.
Someone had recorded our conversation. Someone had been in my basement. But how did they get my voice? How did they make it sound so desperate? The phone rang again. This time, a different voice.
You shouldn't have gone down there, Kate. Now I know you're brave. Now I know you're alone.
I ran upstairs and called 911. But when the police arrived, they found something that made my blood freeze. Footprints in the dirt outside my basement window. Fresh footprints, leading to my neighbor's house. My neighbor, Mr. Hendricks, had been dead for 2 weeks. Heart attack. But someone had been living in his house, watching me, recording me. They found the equipment in Hendricks' basement. Voice modulators, recording devices, surveillance cameras pointed at my house. But they never found who was using them, the detective said.
It was probably a drifter, someone who broke in after Hendricks died.
But I know different. I know because 3 months later, I got another call. Same time, 3:17 a.m. But this time, it wasn't my voice on the other end. It was a woman in Phoenix, Arizona, and she was crying. She said,
Don't trust him. He's already inside.
When I was a kid growing up in Amarillo, my grandfather used to tell me stories about a radio tower out by the old salt flats. He swore it still played old broadcasts from decades ago, even though it hadn't had a license since the 70s. I didn't think much of it, just old man talk, until last fall. I was driving back from Lubbock late at night when my phone died in the car, GPS lost signal. Desperate for noise, I hit the seek button on the radio. It landed on 88.3 FM. No station should have been broadcasting there. It was jazz. Not modern jazz either, real old school stuff. The kind of sound my grandfather loved. I listened for a while, comforted, until the sax faded and a man's voice cut in.
Dedicated to Jake, who used to sit on the porch with his granddad, dreaming about flying.
My blood went cold. No one called me Jake anymore, except my grandfather. He'd been dead for 10 years. I pulled over. Static hissed, then resolved into a humming old country ballad. Another voice came through, this one female, quite sad.
If you're hearing this, it's still reaching someone. Still here, even after we're not.
I looked out toward the salt flats. There was an outline of the old radio tower, silhouetted against the stars, completely dark. Then I saw the faintest flicker of red light blink once, twice. I drove toward it. I don't know why. The gravel road had overgrown weeds. The station building was collapsed. But in the dust, there were tire tracks fresh. And someone had left the front door of the tower shack open. Inside was a half-lit console. Dusty, but humming. Still on. Sitting on the desk was a photo of me as a kid, sitting beside my grandfather. There was a handwritten note underneath.
Don't forget the stories, Jake. Some of them still need telling.
I looked at the equipment. There was a reel marked for Jake. I played it. It was my grandfather's voice, talking about the day I was born, the way I used to sneak buttermilk from his fridge, things he never told anyone else. I listened until the sun rose. When I got back to my car, there was a key on the seat. The old workshop key he used to carry on a chain. But I didn't have it with me when I left. The station is gone now, demolished by the city. But if you're ever driving through Amarillo after midnight, try tuning to 88.3. Maybe you'll hear someone who's gone. Maybe they're waiting for you too. I've been driving for Uber about 5 years now. Mostly late nights, Flagstaff, Sedona, sometimes as far as Gallup. But last Tuesday night, something happened I still can't explain. It was 2:47 a.m. and I was about to log off for the night. That's when I got a request. Pick up Route 66 and Turquoise Trail. Just a lonely intersection near the desert edge of Flagstaff. There's no gas station, no buildings, just sand, old pavement and sky. I almost declined. People around here say that stretch of Route 66 doesn't always stay in this decade. She was already standing there when I pulled up. A woman, maybe in her 70s. Blue vintage dress, lace gloves, hairpin like it was 1950. She didn't say a word. Just opened the back door and sat down. Neutral face, where to? I asked. She handed me a folded slip of yellowed paper. One line written in faded ink. Flagstaff Cemetery. Cemetery Road. That hit weird. Because that's where my grandparents are buried. Including my grandmother, Eleanor Martinez. Born 1920. Died 1987. The drive should have taken 10 minutes. But the street started changing. Signs were older. Billboards missing. Streetlights flickering like old bulbs. It felt like the whole road shifted back in time. I checked the rear view. She was just staring out the window. Tears on her cheeks, but no sound. Then she whispered,
I never got to say goodbye.
That's when it hit me. The dress she gave me? That's the exact plot where Eleanor Martinez is buried. My grandmother. The app was still tracking the ride. Passenger on route. But there was no name. No photo. And the profile? It was created that night. I pulled over just off Cemetery Road. Ma'am, are you okay? I turn around. She was gone. Back seat empty. Doors still locked. Windows sealed shut. But the air was filled with lavender and old roses. Lying on the seat was a $20 bill from 1987 and a funeral program with her name, Eleanor Martinez, 1920 to 1987. The Uber app still said, drop-off pending, destination, Flagstaff Cemetery. I didn't want to finish the ride, but something told me I had to, and that's where I saw her, standing beside her own grave, the same woman, same dress, same gloves, face lit in silver moonlight. She turned and smiled, gentle and calm. Then she said,
Thank you for the ride. I'd been waiting 34 years to get home.
Then she pointed next to her grave. Another stone, Miguel Martinez, 1918 to 2021. She said,
He passed last week. Now I can rest.
And just like that, she vanished, like fog in sunlight. I never told anyone what happened. Not really. But sometimes when I drive past Turquoise Trail, I swear I see her, just standing under that flickering streetlight, calm, waiting. And the back seat of my car still smells like lavender.